thank you so much for joining my channel again. Today I'm going to be taking it from where we stopped the last time, which was the elements of graphic design. We said that those elements are the basic things that you need to know, and those things are the tools or the ingredients that are going to build up or make up your design. All right, so today we're going to be taking it a step further. We're going to be talking about the principles of graphic design, but before then I want to talk briefly on the software I'm about to use right now. Adobe Photoshop CC 2015.5 version. I chose this because I think it's easy to get. So if you want to download the software, you can as well go to getintopc.com. Alright, it's written on the screen, getintopc.com, to download Adobe Photoshop 2015. Alright, so we are jumping into the software already. Okay, this is software that enables you to perform wonders. Yeah, so this is where most manipulations you see are done. This is where most graphic designs you see are done. All right, it helps you to produce both raster, both vector graphics. You can take care of them here. We're going to talk about raster and vector graphics shortly. Then there is one you need to know. It's also called Adobe Illustrator. Is still the same people that made Photoshop that made Illustrator. Now Illustrator is basically for vectors. All right, vector files, shape based files, measurement based designs, but it's still very good for designs generally, and maybe for your logo and all that, but there is nothing you cannot achieve with Photoshop. Likewise Illustrator. Then there is one most graphic designers, if not all, started with. If you are early graphic designer as at early 2000s, late 1990s, you know this software is a legendary software. Trust me, software is CorelDRAW. All right, till today CorelDRAW is still one of the best graphic designing software. Just that Photoshop came in with some other features, and basically those features you can still have a whole lot of them achieved in one way or the other in CorelDRAW. But CorelDRAW is basically for designing vectors, just like Illustrator here. So we are going to be looking into those three, but for the sake of this class, let us jump into Photoshop, and I'm going to drop the principles you need to know about graphic design while I'm doing that on my screen right now. So the first principle you need to know, I'm going to open a new file. All right, whenever you open a file in CorelDRAW, in Photoshop, this is what you see. And you click File, then New. This is what you see, but I'm going to still go through this later because that's not part of what I'm going to talk about in this class yet. So just follow me. I'm going to put use default Photoshop default size, boom, and it brings me a plain space where I can do what I want to do. So now the first principle of design you need to know is balance. Okay, balance is very, very important. Even architects and paint artists understand this. There has to be balance in design. So this is done by using symmetry and asymmetry. Okay, when we talk about symmetry or asymmetry, we'll talk of, okay, let me take for instance. All right, let me use balance. I just type balance. Okay, so if I have graphic contents, if I have designs, it's going to be wrong for me to place my information here, because we are trying to strike a balance. Now talking about symmetry, asymmetry, if this content, or if this the content of the design can be divided, if I want to divide it into two, if I can actually do that from the center, will I have the same proportion left and right? So right now this doesn't make any sense, because design first of all is at the edge of the wall. Now this is something you need to watch and take very good note of. Do not allow your designs or any text content to come to the edge, especially text contents to come to the edge of your design, just like this. Always give 1 centimeter space. So if worse comes to, if you cannot remember, this is a ruler. All right, there's a ruler for you. You just pick the ruler from this side and maybe place it just 1 centimeter, so that all your designs are not going to pass that area. You see that now? So that's what I'm doing. So you can as well try it out if you have you should. I'm going to put the link to download the software in the description menu. In the description, I'm going to put the link to download the software right below at the description area. So your design has to be symmetry or asymmetry. So now we can still have our balance like this. Now we can say, all right, these contents are aligned from left to right. So I can say it is asymmetry now, but it has to have balance. I have to strike a balance. Now there's something about balance that also have to do with colors. Okay, but we'll still come to that when we'll talk about when we'll start the designs proper. All right, so this is balance. So this can be achieved. This can be achieved by balancing the design in width, meaning lines and spaces. This can be achieved by balancing the design in width, meaning shapes, lines, and other elements are distributed evenly. All right, so whatever you are going to be using for your design has to be distributed evenly. So we can't have more things here, all right. We can't have more things here, all right, and let's say like that, and just like that. Although it depends on what you want to achieve, but it is going to be more balanced if we have to spread out some of our contents to the left and to the right. So everything have a reason which you must actually observe. All right, so there are principles to everything. The later looks better than the former. It's a little bit balanced right now. All right, so we talk of alignment. All right, alignment is about keeping the design organized. All aspects of the design should be aligned from the top, the bottom, at the center, and all that. Now, after talking of balancing, alignment is something else. All right, you should have your design moving in a certain flow. Now, if I want to align center, all right, I will make sure that my design, all right, is aligned all center. You see that? And there, with the help of the guide, you see a purple color guide. You see it right now. So you see right now. So my design has to have a certain kind of flow. All right, it has to have a certain kind of flow. Then, if I must align left, all right, it should all move to the left. All right, so your design have to have a certain kind of flow. It must look very, very organized. It must look organized. So with the help of these rulers as well, you can as well place them and check if what you're doing is balanced or aligned. You see that now? So it's aligned in a particular line. See that? So that is that for alignment. All right, your designs, they have to be relationship between what you're designing. have to be relationships between what you're designing. All right, now it should be easy for somebody to comprehend that this is what you are trying to communicate by just looking at it from far. All right, so if I'm about to advertise, or if I have an information about graphic design class, all right, let's use this class for example. So what I'm to do is to make sure, first of all, that graphic design, all right, is the focal point. You see that now? Is the focal point. Is the focal point. Then I can now put put things like join now. Okay, join now. But what I'm trying to talk about first hand is graphic design. So that is actually the main focus of the design. It minimizes cluster. All right, so imagine I have graphic design right here, and my join now is as big as the graphic design, and the date for the class, maybe let me say 20th February, is just right here. It's just somewhere right here. Now they are good, they are visible, but something is wrong. What is wrong is that now we don't know what is the most important we don't know what is the most important element we have in this place. Are we trying to talk about 20th February? Are we trying to talk about so now we try to create a connection for the audience to understand that if you put this down, all right, when we talk of hierarchy, all right, know things that are much important than the other, and we put this just right here. So this helps to minimize cluster, all right, and increases viewers' comprehension and provides a focal point for the viewer. So one of these, as an example, is what I just have here. So when you look at this, all right, you have graphic design as a focal point. Okay, so graphic design is our focal point. So these other ones are just things that are attached to it to describe graphic design, or whatever you want to do with the graphic design the more. All right, so you need to understand proximity and how to allow your content have relationship with each other. Now, some of the things that also help to let contents align with each other is what you call shapes. Yeah, I'll still get to that in the depth of this class. So repetition, yes, once you've chosen how to use an element, make sure you continue like that. Once you've chosen how to use an element, or an element at all, or a pattern, make sure you continue like that throughout your design. All right, it helps consistency. Okay, I'm still going to throw more light on this by the time we get to the design proper. Make sure once you choose a design element, make sure you repeat that pattern over and over again, like consistently maintain that pattern, all right, over your design. So if I choose to work with text on this, or if I choose to work with circles or squares, you know, or shapes, so I say these are all I need for this design. Okay, so I found that these are all I need. So what I just need to do is to keep them steady. All right, keep them steady. I may have them in different sizes. Okay, so I'll keep them steady. all over the design. Okay, or if I choose to use maybe a square, a rectangle highlight here. All right, let me change my font color so that it's visible. Now it's going to be a little bit out of place if I pick an ellipse and draw it over this one. Maybe let me change the color of the radar. So, alright, this is a high level of inconsistency in this design. Okay, so that doesn't look right. Okay, take a look at that. So if you choose a pattern, all right, make sure you continue and finish with that pattern. Okay, so just relax. We're going to go into more details on this. We're going to use practical designs and we're going to try and remake and manufacture some of them so that we can make these principles more handy. Now see, but if I try to pick the rectangle, all right, and just use it for this place instead of the ellipse. Okay, let me turn off the ellipse. Turn off the big ellipse. Big ellipse. All right, I think it's done now. All right, you see that? So there is a repeated pattern. We have a rectangle, you have a rectangle here. It looks more like it. So likewise, every other element you're going to be using for your design. So if you use a certain kind of line, all right, try and repeat that pattern over and over again. All right, don't try to do more things. In fact, designs are more beautiful when they are simple. Okay, so now let's talk about contrast. Contrast is used to emphasize certain aspects of the design. Using contrast allow you to stress the difference between elements. Now I did something here. The join noun is on white and the box is on red. Now I've created contrast. Now it is going to be wrong if I have this join now. It's going to look odd if I have this join now, still have red, this kind of red on it. All right, there is no enough contrast on it. Now take a look at the graphic design. I have to place it on a white background so that you can be able to see it without trying to stress yourself. So the design has to stand out. For example, if you're making a design, your background, maybe I choose a rectangle to cover all this right now, and it is and I used a color like this, a color like this for my background, and pushed it. All right, look at it now. There is no enough contrast for this work, so you have to make sure you must have to take note of this. Whatever you're going to be using at the background should be far different from what maybe color or background should be far more different than what you have at the top of it. So let me make use of black now. You see, we have more contrast here. All right, so I'm going to be showing you techniques of how you're going to be applying your contrast, and how you're going to be applying your contrast in your designs. All right, so there are some other techniques you can use. You can use highlights to you can use stroke. You can use stroke to apply contrast. You can use shadows, as the case may be. let me quickly talk about this, because we're going to be doing our designs based on the mindset and based on the information we're going to be driving from this. Now, there are two basic kind of graphics. It's either vector or raster graphics. All right, so now I placed these two objects. One is the image of my friend, a makeup artist, evablazing. All right, she's one of the makeup artists in my city, the best makeup artists in my city. Shout out to you, girl. Makeup artist in my city. You can follow her on Instagram, and you can follow her on Instagram and Facebook. A little advert for you. So now, for the purpose of this, I'm going to show you the difference between these two kind of graphics. All right, let me make a little more emphasis on this. All right, I'll have this kept one area, kept at one end. All right, so now understanding the difference between raster and vector graphics are very, very, very important, because it helps you to also know the file type or the extensions you're going to be saving your files with, and exactly the kind of design you choose to do. So raster formats of designs are always known as bitmaps. Now let me take a look. Let me zoom into evablazing's face. All right, okay, you discover that we have dots and pixels. All right, let me zoom into it more. All right, you see dots and pixels, right? You see those dots and pixels, right? So now those dots and pixels, okay, are what number of pixels, constitute what or constructs what we call raster graphics. All right, so raster is pixel based. So talking about vector is it's more like mathematical formula. So those mathematical formulas are not like as difficult as you're going to think. You are not going to be doing any mathematical calculation. So all you just need to know that they are consisting of more shapes. All right, of more shapes and things that you can easily edit. All right, especially in softwares like that. So now if you say let's zoom into this, but our shape still remains the same. All right, nothing changed, unlike when we tried to zoom evablazing herself. See that we started getting pixels. So the basic difference between vector and raster is that these ones can be expanded. They can be expanded, and you still have them in form. All right, everything in it are still together. So but we can't do the same to this one, because once we start doing it, all right, the pixels are reducing. You do it to a point until your image is completely pixelated. All right, the image is getting pixelated. I wish you could see it from here. This is more quality. So vector graphics are actually a hard end graphics that you can actually use for your logos, even for your flyers. You can make use of them. Now working over even for your flyers, you can make use of them for your logos, even for your flyers. You can still choose to do a vector graphic, and we're going to do all that. We're going to jump into all that in detail. So now talking about the formats vector graphics come with. Talking about file formats, you can have a file format like this: Adobe Illustrator. Alright, Adobe Illustrator. So the Adobe Illustrator basically is just restricted to Adobe Illustrator. So you have a file format like EPS. Alright, the EPS is an abbreviation for encapsulated postscript. Okay, they are actually used in saving vector and raster files. It depends, but basically whenever you use it to save a vector file, it means you can actually edit it across softwares. That's, you can use it in Illustrator, you can use it as a CorelDRAW file, you can also use it as edit it in Illustrator. So it's used to transfer files between editors. So if I do a design and I want to send it to somebody else, a friend of mine, maybe in UK, to work on it, so I'll probably have to save it in EPS so that he can make changes however he wants it. So we're going to be looking at examples of this EPS, or showing you how it looks by the time we get into maybe logo making and all that, or saving your files. So you must have seen this as well. Must have seen SVG. Alright, must have seen SVG as well. SVG allows 3 types of graphics. Alright, it allows vector only, it allows bitmaps and text. Okay, so SVGs are basically let's say supportive for animation. So most of the text, maybe you have a kind of text or a logo you want to fuse into an animation or 3D. Okay, you save them into SVGs. Okay, now there is one we all know about this, but it's another very beautiful way to save your file. All right, so if you save your file in PDF means portable document format. PDF means portable document format. Okay, it's a file format that is used to present documents filed with text and images. All right, so you have text and images, you can use PDF to save it, so it will keep those elements together and maybe not allow them to lose quality as at when you designed or how you designed them. All right, I think I'm forgetting one that we normally use to save our logos and all that. We all know when you hear of or two, I think 2 of them. So I think you've seen this before. Alright, so look at PNG. Alright, this is a format that you normally save files that you don't want it to come out with a background. Basically, this is the basic knowledge you need to have about PNG. Alright, when you save logos, when you want to reuse them in some other place, or maybe in the internet or your video animation, so you save it in PNG so that it doesn't come out with background. I think it's portable network graphics, so it's used is best appreciated when it comes out without background. Alright, web developers prefer to use PNGs to arrange logos and all that. So there is one that is JPEG. Right, let me use this. You can use this, or you can use this, or you can use that. Some people call it JPEG, whatever you call it. Just know that this is the format that is used in saving bitmaps only. Okay, so images saved in JPEG or JPEG cannot be if you have shapes inside. All right, once you pick out those shapes, they are rasters. Alright, those shapes are rasters in as much as they were created with vector. But when you save those images together, everything comes together as one image that cannot be separated. So you can only edit them as raster. Alright, which we are going to still see in details. Alright, so thank you very much for joining this class. See you in the next class.